10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Another episode of Exiles TV is underway here. We're keeping an eye on Sally as we're sneaking Sally through the alley. Looks like the landfall is going to be somewhere along the Mississippi-Alabama state line.
Mm-hmm. And since you're doing the puns, I'll do one too. Mustang Sally has slowed her Mustang down. Mm-hmm. It ain't moving.
About 2 miles an hour was the last reported forward movement speed. And that's, I mean, that to me is just horrible. When you're that close to landfall, when the storm is that close to landfall, and then suddenly it slows down to nothing. And of course, what happens with a hurricane when it slows its forward movement? It gains strength because it's just sitting there churning over the water.
When it picks up a lot of water, that it turns into nasty, nasty rain. One of the projections for the area immediately surrounding Mobile rain, this isn't the surge. This is the rain. 2 feet.
Yeah. The amounts are staggering when you look at this. It's like we could see some serious rainfalls in the extreme eastern part of our state, like, say, Tammany Parish. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, you get over into the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. They're going to take it really, really rough. It's going to be a tough time for the next 24 hours here.
Yeah, for those of you in the eastern part of the state who are watching us on Cox Cable, they are projecting a 6 to 9 foot storm surge along the coast, all the way from Boothville to Mobile, and actually all the way to like Gulf Shores. But Lake Maurepas and Lake Pontchartrain have a potential of a 2 to 4 foot storm surge right now. Now, is it going to jog further east as it goes north? We don't know. There are just so many things we don't know right now. But for example, right now, there's going to be water height above ground in Ascension Parish and Livingston Parish. In places like French Settlement, Killian, Maurepas, you're going to see a greater than 1 foot water height above ground. That should not be devastating. But to get missed this widely by a storm and to be on the dry side, this really shows you how much that wind just sitting there over the Gulf is moving that Gulf water. Mm-hmm. Kind of scary.
6 to 9 feet storm surge all the way to beyond Mobile Bay from the mouth of the Mississippi River. 6 to 9 feet of storm surge expected.
And we are sitting here at Tuesday, right?
Right. Here's
a little stat that may or may not prove to be true, but this is the modeling. Friday in Gulfport, Mississippi, 4.5 inches of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Friday.
Yep. This thing has been, it's funny is it's still, a lot of the rain that's falling is still falling far off to the east. I mean, the Florida Panhandle's getting socked with rain right now.
Yeah, again, it's a very, very big rain field. For example, this morning in Panama City, Florida, which is, help me out with my geography, about 200 miles from where the eye wall is.
Yeah, roughly.
They had one band that had 4.5 inches of rain in it. Mm-hmm. In one band. And that was this morning at around 6 a.m. So it is not a pretty situation, and it is unfolding. And You know what? It looks pretty much, I'd say 90% that it's over. But did you look at the storm track last night late?
Well, no, I actually saw the storm track early this morning.
Did you notice that big Z in the storm track?
Yeah, it kind of jogged off to the west and then back to the east again.
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
it went straight west for a while, which is kind of crazy. But all the meteorologists are saying that, generally speaking, it's about 90% that we have dodged a bullet on this one. But there are...
When you say we, who are we talking about? What do you
we
mean?
in Baton Rouge.
What do you mean, we paleface?
We in Lafayette, we in Baton Rouge.
Lafayette, Baton Rouge, all those areas west of, say, Tangipahoa Parish, have pretty much dodged any serious impacts on this thing.
Yeah, Slidell, the greater New Orleans area, in St. Bernard and Plaquemine, Boothville, Grand Isle, you're still going to have some surge and some wind.
Yeah. And see, for St. Tammany and those parishes north of Lake Pontchartrain, Tangipahoa, all those North Shore parishes, what do they have an abundance of? Big, tall, fragile pine trees.
Yeah.
Because pine is a softwood, and you get a 60-mile-an-hour wind, a pine tree could snap like a twig.
Oh yeah, and it'll twist and snap. And I was trying to actually get the wind projections in front of me. We're going to take a break. Maybe I'll have them up by the time we get back.
Yeah,
Okay.
the wind projections they're going to be high at least for the next 36 hours. But we'll take a quick break, take care of some business, and we'll be back with more on. It's her Category 1, Hurricane Sally.
It is.
I keep losing track. Hurricane Sally.
It is Hurricane Sally. That's right. It is still a Category 1.
Exiles TV's coming right back.
Taste the feeling. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Back to Exiles TV, as we are, as Kevin put it, sneaking Sally down the alley. Looking bad for Biloxi, Gulf Park, Mobile, Gulf Shores, Pensacola. You know that they actually shut down the naval base there? Only essential personnel. Mm-hmm. They are at emergency level 1 in Pensacola.
But to illustrate what I meant about the heavy rainfall, and this is just from 25 minutes ago on Channel 9, Panama City, getting hammered with heavy rain right now.
Yeah, I was looking at the radar on that.
I mean, here the center of the storm is south of the mouth of the Mississippi River, and Panama City is getting just absolutely pelted with rain right now.
Now, this is the projected wind field, by the way, for our friends in the New Orleans area, particularly those of you in St. Bernard and Plaquemines Parish. You are still being warned about 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds while this thing comes ashore. In Slidell, 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Here in the Baton Rouge area, in the Lafayette area, 15 to 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Now, this does not allow for gusts. But if you look at the graphic, and I wish I could put it up on the screen, I can't. If you look at the graphic, the entire area from, I guess that's the Chandelier Islands, all the way through the Biloxi to Pascagoula side, the Dauphin Island, the Mobile Bay, the Fairhope, the Gulf Shores, all the way to Pensacola. Are you ready for this? Brace for 90-mile-an-hour winds in that entire area.
Now, the good news is that, as with all hurricanes, once it gets over land, it'll start to lose strength really quickly.
Yeah, it'll lose quickly.
Now, Hurricane Laura notwithstanding, because I don't think we've seen the like of Laura in a long time, and hopefully it'll be a long time before that happens again. What we're used to is these things coming ashore, and, you know, Laura was a 4 when she made landfall a couple of weeks ago, and then it was like, you know, normally it would be landfall 4 within an hour, 3, then 2, then 1. This thing was still a Category 2 hurricane as it approached Shreveport, for God's sakes. We're not expecting any of this with Sally. We're expecting the more familiar de-strengthening or weakening of the storm pretty much as soon as it gets over land.
Well, and the thing is, it's got to get over land because it's crawling along. And you know, that area between Biloxi and Pensacola, and basically as far north as the Mobile city limits north, that's kind of a basin of its own. So the storm surge can be a lot worse there, and it doesn't change the wind amount that much until it gets north of Mobile. You know, we saw with Laura, now it went from a 4 to a 2, which is not great, but that happened about south of Alexandria.
Yeah.
Now, this is only going to be a 1, hopefully, when it lands. But it's still going to have to, it's only moving at 2 miles an hour. It's going to have to get north of the Mobile metro area before it starts to lose its punch because of that basin. It just drops real low.
Now, Jeff Morrow with Channel 9 in Baton Rouge says there is some high-level wind shear that's at play that could hopefully weaken the storm even further as it tries to make its way ashore.
By the way, a shout out to Jeff. And of course, you know, we admire a lot of the weathercasters, Jay and Dr. Steve and Diane and Dr. Josh over at the other station. But Jeff does such a great job when he's got the graphics, and you can, as they say, he can learn you something. He was showing this morning the jet stream was higher than the top of this storm, and it was also basically an arc from like Shreveport to Columbia, South Carolina. But it's moving south, and it's also moving down. So it'll get in there and mess this storm up. We all wish it would do it rather expeditiously, as they say.
Well, we were hoping for another Marco situation where Mother Nature just tore Marco to shreds before the storm could do that much damage. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case with Sally. So areas to the east of Baton Rouge, our friends watching on Cox Cable in the New Orleans area and Slidell, batten down the hatches because it's still coming.
Yeah, seriously. You are not going to have a horrible experience, but you're going to have an experience that's going to be bad enough. Trust me when I tell you this. We need to take a quick break here. We'll be back with more And we will also be joined with the people from GOSEP, the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. See? I can say it, finally.
You did good.
They will be joining us in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, Exiles TV, remember, it will be up on YouTube in about 2 or 3 hours. There is a replay tonight at 10 p.m., and you can stream it anytime. Just get the Pelican Broadcasting app. It is in the iTunes Apple Store.
And Google Play.
And you can take us, think about this, take us with you wherever you go.
Along.
Maybe we shouldn't put that on the end of
Maybe
that.
not.
We're blacked out in the Google Play app, so you don't have to look at us. But you can get all the content, okay? Back with more in a moment. You're watching Exiles TV on the Big Brown Bird, on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles TV. We're talking Hurricane Sally as we're sneaking Sally through the alley, blah, blah, blah. How many times can I make that joke?
That was 4.
It's not even funny, really,
think
when you
hit
think
the
about
limit.
the people that are going to take a hit from this. Of course, we're kind of elated here in the capital region because it looks like the storm is going to miss us. We might not even get any heavy weather, but This gentleman who joins us, Mike Steele, with the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, he's part of the team that makes sure that our state is prepared for whatever nature throws our way. Mike, it's always good to see you. I wish it wasn't under these circumstances.
You bet. Kind of breathing a little easier this morning now that we're seeing this thing kind of shift east.
Well, what are the concerns with the shift for, say, the city of New Orleans and western or eastern St. Tammany Parish?
I noticed this morning, right before we left, there were some easing up of some of the evacuation orders. There was some reopening of some of the highways down there. The reports we were getting from the parish just really didn't indicate any kind of problems, above what we would see with like high tides and some of the roadways that kind of go under. So hopefully, we'll see that stay into effect. I didn't get to see all of the reports. As a matter of fact, the governor has a unified command group meeting going on right now where they were going to be updating those things, but I didn't see anything really significant this morning. We're going to have to keep an eye on it, though, until that all clear is given, but so far so good.
It's moving at a snail's pace. It's crawling. And this morning, all the meteorologists, both national and local, were saying, look, chances are real good that Louisiana is not going to have a tremendous wind force impact. But while it sits there, because it took that hard left yesterday that scared everybody, we will not know. And, the Mississippi, the western coast and western area of Mississippi, it kind of blends into Louisiana very, very closely there at the Pearl River. Are we ready to help them if we don't need much here and they need a lot of help because they're more in the bullseye?
There's already been conversations with like our office and with Mississippi Emergency Management. We are right at the border. So Mississippi starts FEMA Region 4, which is, I believe their headquarters is out of Miami, and then we're out of Region 6, which is Denton. So usually states kind of work more within their regions, but because of our proximity with Mississippi and some of the other states, we kind of reach out to them on a regular basis, just like they do with us. So I know those conversations have started. One of the main things we want to emphasize, though, with so many evacuees still being in New Orleans and still being in Baton Rouge, even as far away as Texas, is that we're not going to lose momentum. We've had a tremendous start to recovery with Laura, and so our group that's focused on making sure that action continues is focused on that. We're still going to be able to handle whatever preparedness is needed for any of these other events.
I think the term multitasking is not adequate right now.
Right.
You've got this, whatever it's going to end up being, basically at the door. You've got 4 more features out there and one that's going to become a feature. And then you've got that thing down by Brownsville that may turn into something. And you guys have been running, full tilt boogie now for about 18, 19 days?
Well, I don't remember my last day. Like we're kind of in one. It was somewhere around mid August, but I mean, I was talking to somebody about this morning. It's no different than what people in the state are dealing with. If you're a business owner or homeowner, in these areas, there's just stretches you gotta get after it and roll up your sleeves and get it done, and that's kind of, we're in one of those runs. The other thing that we kind of not joked around the office, but it was like we almost knew, like, okay, if there's going to be a test of dealing with a hurricane during COVID and everything else, like, it's going to be us.
Well, we talked about it right here, the 3 of us, in March.
Right. So, we felt like we were up. Obviously, there were some things, with registering evacuees and some of the other steps. What's been really a challenge is trying to figure out the wraparound services for the evacuees in the hotels. If you're in a large shelter-type setting, planning meals and different things, that aren't necessarily the shelter itself, are a little bit easier. So there's been some things to kind of iron out, with those steps and those services. We think we're kind of getting it done, but other states are starting to reach out to us already to say, like, how did y'all handle this in case we have to do the same thing?
Now, there's still power restoration operations going on in southwest Louisiana from Laura.
Right.
And you guys are coordinating a lot of that effort. You've got out-of-state help trying to get power back on. how does that ongoing operation affect whatever is going to be needed from Louisiana for our neighbor states?
So the Public Service Commission talked about it. So we were somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 700,000 power outages right after Laura hit. So they dropped those numbers down, like they were dropping by 100,000 in some cases per day right after the storm.
Good.
So now we're down to around, I think the last count I saw was somewhere in the 75 to 80,000 range, I believe. And a lot of those areas are just where the infrastructure was just annihilated, where the towers and a lot of the stations were just wiped out. So those are the really complicated ones left. But a lot of those crews that came in on the initial phase have kind of been freed up. So I know the Public Service Commission briefed out that they had crews ready to stand by for Southeast Louisiana, and they have that strong network with all those utility companies where whatever state's being hit, they have resources to pull. There was a lot of bad information going out on social media and everything about utility crews, but we had over 17,000 utility crews in from out of state, helping with that project. Like there was nobody being blocked or anything else like some of the other nonsense.
Speaking of helpers, it's like we have a client who, this is not his primary business, but immediately went into doing hurricane relief, going
Chris,
back and forth. Yeah, Chris Nelson. We had another person that was supposed to be here who is a professional musician, and he is an IT guy by trade, and he went in to help restore all the IT at L'Auberge, Lake Charles, and surrounding areas. And then we have somebody that's going to be on with us on Thursday. He and his wife are both trained architects. They spent most of last week in Lake Charles doing building safety inspections.
Yep.
So you're getting a lot of folks that are helping.
That's right. And we have staff in from Oklahoma. They came in to help me with the communication
You brought one
side.
of them with you,
That's right. She's actually here with me today. But they also brought a support team down for the Emergency Operations Center because, like you said, we've kind of been running. We haven't completely deactivated since COVID started in March. And so that's a long stretch to kind of be working everybody, with the hours and everything we have been. So Oklahoma sent a team down to help with our Emergency Operations Center, and there's all this great, state-to-state assistance available now. And people always helped, pre-Katrina, but now it's so much more organized and structured, and the way the request process is put, the requests are put out, the way they're answered, there's a lot more like, okay, we need this team's going here. And, it's not just everybody running into a state and then trying to figure out, okay, where we need it, like you saw with some of the aftermath with Katrina and all. So, good things have been happening. It's just going to take a little while to get the recovery.
Are federal resources available? Because I worry that Laura will be completely forgotten with the West Coast virtually on fire right now.
There's
hundreds and hundreds of wildfires out west.
There's nothing to indicate that. Like FEMA Region 6 is our main contact point. Their administrator for Region 6 has probably been in the state more than he's been out of the state ever since Laura made landfall. He's here today. And so they have communications teams and recovery teams and everything. They still run a big operation down at the old Gottschall's building downtown, and so the response has been tremendous. Like we haven't really seen. You hate to say it's wonderful because people are suffering, but I don't know what else could have been done as far as the manpower and the effort put on this. It hadn't gotten the national attention, hadn't gotten the media attention because there's
wasn't New Orleans.
Right. I mean, that's usually what it comes down to a lot of times. If it's not Baton Rouge or New Orleans, the media coverage is limited sometimes, but that doesn't mean that the people who need to be paying attention to it aren't paying attention to it.
And I hate to be so critical about this, but the fact of the matter is many of the people in that area of Cameron and Calcasieu and Vermilion did get to safety, and so the national media doesn't have bodies floating like they did with Katrina. And God bless us, we have had a very, very small death count considering the size of this storm.
But see, the bigger part of the story is that I know that our oil and gas industry is on its butt, but still that part of our state is so key to the oil and gas industry in Louisiana and for this half of the nation.
Right.
Yeah, the economic impact, I think, is going to go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And last night they evacuated 25% of the drilling platforms in what they call the Central Gulf. In other words, south of Louisiana and Alabama and the Panhandle of Florida, because you can't have those people out there drilling when the winds get up this high, which means by Friday, your price of gas is going to go up about 10 cents a gallon.
You know, if I could go back to for a second on something you talked about, the death count, I think now from Laura is up around 28. And it's pretty remarkable to think that there was only, the governor's kind of hit on this a couple of times, only one person died as a result of the storm itself.
Yeah.
You know, the other fatalities have happened because of people not using generators properly or accidents where they were on a roof or
heat
operating equipment, heat exhaustion. And so as we deal with these other threats, we really hope the public thinks about that. I've got a generator at my house that I've never cranked up. I've had it for a few years now, and we haven't had a situation where I've needed it yet, but I'm not 100% familiar with operating one. So I know, it's important for me to know what the ventilation process is, what refueling a generator, how do you do that safely? So people really need to be not only pay attention to the threat of the storm, but what they face.
I'll give you a tip. If you got it in your carport, keep your kitchen door closed.
Yeah,
yeah,
no kidding.
And put it at the edge. But I mean, again, I do think GOSEP has always been very good about the educational resources available, and this is something we are now starting to see. And there was a guy from one of the big boxes. I think it was Home Depot, one of the big boxes. And he was saying the biggest mistake people make with generators that gets them into trouble is they don't buy enough 12-gauge extension cord. They don't buy 100 feet of it. And so they've got 25 feet. They got the generator close to a window that they've got open because it's hot.
Right.
And I mean, I guess
it's such a slow process. Once those fumes start coming in, you don't always know what's happening. Get a carbon monoxide, detector. There were some neighborhoods, in all honesty, where people were worried about putting it too far away from the home because of crime.
Somebody who doesn't have a generator might come and steal yours.
Right. So,
well, I've had a generator swiped right out from under our noses during Hurricane Gustav, or the recovery from Gustav. But I left the house for 3 hours and came back and my generator was broad daylight. But my generator was gone.
It's become interesting that everybody, and I think this is pretty much since Katrina, but it applies all across this country. Everybody has gotten into the business of keeping people from making, for lack of a better word, dumb mistakes that can kill them. GOSEP, broadcast entities, hospitals, medical centers. It's like we're all running around going, okay, don't run with scissors. Look both ways before you cross the street. Do not stick that butter knife into the outlet.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to.
And I mean, you're absolutely right. But when people are struggling and when it's 105 degree heat index outside and everything, people lose focus sometimes. So it's one of those things. A lot of people get it, but a lot of people do need to be reminded.
Well, when I was a kid, I remember it was I grew up in an area in Chicago, and we had a lot of people that found ways to supplementally heat their homes because they were not doing well economically, and we had people that would die every Christmas season from having barbecue grills inside their house for heat.
Whoops.
And it took years for people to get the message that this not can kill you, it will kill you.
Yeah. We are going to take a moment, take care of a little business. After this commercial break, we'll be back with more Mike Steele with GOSEP, and we'll talk about Sally. What are we ready for? Are you ready for it if you're off to the east part of Louisiana? That's all coming up on Exiles TV. Stay there.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. It appears a fairly certain, not 100%, but a fairly certain probability that Louisiana is not going to get a major impact from Hurricane Laura. But since it is virtually stalled, that is still an open question. We're talking in general about hurricane preparedness and recovery. With us is Mike Steele from GOSEP, the Governor's Office of Emergency Preparedness and Homeland Security. And Mike,
close enough.
Well, I'm sorry. The Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. We need shorter acronyms. I'm going to get somebody in the legislature to require.
I want to go back to OEP. What was wrong with OEP?
There was nothing wrong with OEP. Nothing. To go back to three-letter acronyms makes it a lot easier. But, you all have been mobilized for a very long time for various emergencies. As an aside, when they were talking about the fires all over the western part of the country, there was a national weather guy who said, and it's not just there. And he puts up a map where all the fire, and there was a fire in Point Coupee Parish that had to be fought by our, I guess, LDWF or Ag, Department of Ag.
Department of Ag.
As our firefighter.
Yeah, they usually do a lot of the spotting and everything on those too.
What's next? A swarm of locusts?
Murder hornets.
You murder hornets. Let's talk about Laura, if we can.
Sure.
I was in New Orleans last weekend. I saw in their news that they had 1,200 evacuees from Laura in hotels in New Orleans.
12,000.
12,000, excuse me. 12,000, not 1,200. 12,000. I know we have a fairly decent amount in Baton Rouge. Now, once they are in the hotels, FEMA is picking up the bills to the hotels. Does that have an expiration date on it, or is that we'll make a judgment every week to see how long they need them?
Yeah, so there's this is where it really kind of got tricky, and it got tricky with the messaging for the public, because we know, like, after the 2016 floods, FEMA has temporary housing available through the TSA program where the vouchers are available.
Yes.
So if you lived in Baton Rouge, you flooded, you met the requirements, you could basically go to a hotel and work through the voucher system and stay at the hotel with you and your family, while your housing got worked out. So this wasn't vouchers, but that's what the public was used to. So at some point, you're going to see programs like that kicked in once we get to that phase of the recovery. Think about like normal shelter operations, like when Celtic was being used and everything. You usually saw those run for several weeks until some of those temporary housing programs kicked in. We're still in that sheltering phase. It just so happens we're in hospitals, so the timing seems a little off. But there's been talk of MHUs. I don't know exactly where we're at in that process. I don't expect it to take much longer. But now they're looking at maybe going back to more of the travel trailer type usage, because it was so hard to set up a lot of those mobile home units, due to permits and sewage lines and everything else.
Well, it's a lot of tin to be hauling around.
Right, yeah, and you needed certain trucks and everything else, where the travel trailers are so much easier to get in smaller spots. You don't need as much equipment to get them in place, that type thing. So all of those things are kind of being ironed out, and I expect those announcements to be made pretty quickly.
What about Louisiana Rescue Resources? Standing by, ready to go? What do you got?
So I know the discussion this morning was, we have teams that were here ready to help out, and so now they're in the middle of kind of analyzing where they're going to be needed, kind of along the Gulf Coast, kind of taking a look at where that track goes from here. But they were all lined up, ready to go again. The State Fire Marshal's office lines up a lot of that. Wildlife and Fisheries has a lot of search and rescue resources, along with the National Guard. So they're kind of looking at, where can we help out, with the understanding that we do have these other threats that could impact us. So you don't want to get too stretched out, but we have to be there to help others, where we can.
The question that occurred to someone, and they asked me to ask you, and I hadn't really thought about it, but we're having to shelter people a lot further away because we can't do the mass sheltering. The utility crews, the first responders that come from Baton Rouge and Jackson, Mississippi, and Oklahoma that are on scene, who decides the closest hotel rooms, because they need to be close because they're working?
Right.
Who decides that? Is it you? Is it FEMA? Does the local OEP in those parishes decide who gets those rooms closest?
So I know a lot of the utility workers had those rooms lined up before the storm. So I'm assuming that they were, taking up some of that. I know when some of the teams came in from like Oklahoma, when they tried to get to Baton Rouge, the closest hotels they could find around the event were down in like the LaPlace area and those type things. So those numbers are starting to kind of lift now. The more the utility crews are freed up. So another big factor that we're dealing with, and we're trying to iron this out with like Calcasieu Parish, is a lot of the people that were taken from Calcasieu were brought by bus down to New Orleans.
Yes.
They didn't have their own transportation, which is part of the reason they needed help with evacuation. And so we're trying to iron out, how do we get them transported back to Calcasieu Parish? How are those bus plans going to be worked out? So all that's in the works as well.
We saw a group of people from DeRidder, and they were just as sweet as they could be. They were thanking everybody that wasn't wearing shorts and a T-shirt for helping.
Right.
But they said, everybody here has been very nice. We get 3 meals a day. We get medical attention if we need it. They had EMS units from all over the country with FEMA placards on their vehicles that were standing by at all the hotels. They said the only thing we don't know is how we're going to get home, because they brought us here by bus.
Well, they're lining that up now, so that's all in the works. We've got to make sure they've got something to go home to.
Well, what are they going home to?
So it's got to work in coordination with the housing programs. You got to make sure all those things kind of sync up.
It is a massive undertaking.
It is. It's just like everything else. We'll find a way to get through it. It's important to realize it's not just Cameron and Calcasieu too. You mentioned DeRidder. hurricane warnings were going out in Shreveport, which I don't know if that's ever happened before, but
not that I can recall.
It's it's all the way up literally to North Louisiana, and the problems aren't as widespread as they are in Cameron and Calcasieu, but there's pockets of major problems.
Your procurement specialists and FEMA's and everybody that's involved, they have got to be absolute wizards with pointy hats and wands, because I can't imagine you stockpiling 1,200, 128 milliamp phone chargers.
Right.
You probably need to call somebody and say, look, I need 500 of these by tomorrow, and they get them to you.
And if, I'll kind of toot our horn on this. We don't have a large financial office, for our office to handle those type things. But the work they did, even going back to COVID, because we got out of that PPE shortage a lot sooner than a lot of other states did. But it's because of their experience in dealing with these emergencies and knowing the right triggers to pull at the right time. That really helped out. But it's good to know people with that experience are in place.
Well, Mike, as always, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you keeping us up to speed. One of the things that I've always admired about GOSEP is that they've never been the least bit unwilling to share any information right up to the minute, and we appreciate. Tell your bosses thank you very much for access to you during this and other emergencies.
You bet, will do. Thank you, guys.
And one more question before you go. Should the public want to provide something for the rescue effort, are we now directing them to one centralized place like Red Cross or something, or?
I'm glad you brought that up, and we've seen this go a lot smoother too than with some of the past events. A lot of times people want to help, but they get into this case where they're donating items that really aren't needed in that particular region. It may be old clothes, just something that's very difficult to distribute. So we're asking people to really sync up with some of the groups that are out there. Look for the items that are needed. We did see even a point where there were some attorneys from the Baton Rouge area that set up their own, it was almost like a National Guard pod distribution site where they had tents and ice and bottled water and food for the public and everything. They even had drive-through, operations down in Cameron Parish. It's really been remarkable, and we want people to help that way. You just need to understand that if you're trying to donate and you don't have the logistics lined up with somebody over there to receive the items, store the items, all those type things, you're almost causing another added burden onto that impacted area. So if they can sync up with a church, with a civic organization, with the Red Cross, with any of those groups doing things. We're also in the process, or we just lined up like warehouse space for all of the volunteer groups to use, where they would be able to kind of hold some of those items and then hand them out as needed. But that's all being done through the groups that are already kind of organized that are traditionally, part of this effort.
Yeah, so before you just load up your vehicle, and God knows we thank you for that, make a call or get online with somebody so that they know you're coming and can make it a little easier for you.
Right.
Don't just run over there. I know a lot of us here, we get our heartstrings get tugged. We run to Home Depot with our credit card and we say load me up, and we want to go. We may not have somewhere to go to.
Well, and you see
there may be nobody to take it from you when you get there with it.
Well, and we see those negative stories come out where somebody will go online and
they're all upset
and say, well, they're saying they don't need our help. And it's like, nobody's saying they don't need your help. We just need to make sure it's organized in a way so the people in the impacted areas aren't overly burdened.
How about this? I'll put on my PR hat. We want to make sure you're properly recognized, so please let someone know you're coming.
Right. Whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do. Mike Steele, always good to have you on. Always great information, and hopefully we will not have too many more of these meetings before Christmas, but I fear we will.
I'm with you. I hope we don't either. So thank you, guys.
Thank you for being with us. Back with more on Exiles TV in just a moment.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hey, welcome back. Exiles TV. Some new news that has occurred. There have been a lot of incidents across the country of police shooting people of color that have gotten a lot of attention. Probably the one that has received the least amount of media attention, but is probably the most egregious, is the death of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. The police served a no-knock warrant to the wrong address, and they basically kicked the door open, guns blazing, and Breonna Taylor, who was an EMT, died in the gunfire. This is a case where it's not hard to see that police made a big mistake, and an innocent person died. Anyway, the news is that the city of Louisville has settled the wrongful death lawsuit with the family of Breonna Taylor. I don't know if this is going to bring any peace to anybody who is still upset about the death of Breonna Taylor. And there's no dollar figure, as you had mentioned right before we went to air, that it's probably going to be a sealed figure.
Yeah, I mean, this country, in a lot of ways, has become a shooting gallery. This was not one of these. It was a tragic mistake.
They went to the wrong house.
Yeah. Now here's one I don't get. The headline says, 6 arrested in fatal shooting of Baton Rouge woman during trail ride in Tangipahoa Parish.
Mm-hmm.
Six people have been arrested in connection with the fatal shooting of a Baton Rouge woman doing a trail ride in Tangipahoa Parish, according to deputies. According to the investigators, multiple suspects opened fire into a large crowd during the trail ride on Vernon Town Road in Roseland, Louisiana, this past Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Zion Hutcherson, 21 years old, of Baton Rouge, died after she was hit by a stray bullet. Investigators say they do not believe that Hutcherson was an intended target. Here's who they arrested. A 19-year-old, Jaylon Mitchell, a 30-year-old, Brandon Perry, a 29-year-old, Craig Brown, a 25-year-old, Tommy Diamond, a 19-year-old, Raheem Harold, and a 27-year-old, Raven Warford. They have all been arrested. Dawn Pinapento, a sheriff's office spokesperson,
Tangipahoa Parish.
Yeah, in Tangipahoa, said Harold was arrested by September 6th in Billings, Montana. He's already wanted by Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office on 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder. He will be extradited back here. Raven Warford, by the way, is the only female. She turned herself in to authorities on September 8th.
So I'm trying to understand the scenario. What happened here? These people were all gathered supposedly to have a good time, and an argument erupted. Next thing you know, guns.
All of them.
What the hell?
All of them had Schedule 5 drugs on them, as well as things like, Schedule 2 drugs, possession of stolen firearms, intent to distribute Schedule 4. They've got a whole bunch of charges. But as written, it appears that whatever happened, the trail ride was in the vicinity and got fired at for one reason or another.
The trail riders just happened to be there in the area, and they caught stray bullets.
Well, no, it says that the suspects fired on this crowd of trail riders.
I'm trying to understand the motivation for that.
Well, that's what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around.
We don't like horses. What?
Well, I think they may be a little premature saying that this woman was not an intended target. She may have been with an intended target.
Mm-hmm. By the way, over the weekend, 10 people, maybe more. The count's not official yet, but at least 10 people injured across the capital city and the Baton Rouge area in a variety of shooting scenarios that happened. Domestic violence, shootings, some were criminally motivated. Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul spoke out regarding the concerning statistics, saying the police department can't do this alone. Anybody who expects that is an unrealistic Anyone who expects that is an unrealistic expectation. Anyone is an expectation.
I think somebody left out a word there.
Yeah, anyway, I think I know what the chief is driving at, because I've said this before and people say, what do you mean? You cannot prevent crime. All police can do is respond to crime. They can take steps to hopefully reach citizens and make them make the right choices and turn away from crime. But when it comes right down to it, when somebody decides they're going to play with a gun and point it at somebody, there's nothing the police can do but respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, and there are shootings in the sheriff's jurisdiction as well. One person shot on Gardier Lane last night. No information on that person's condition.
And these situations are not unique to the Baton Rouge area. It's everywhere. It seems to have risen up with, I'm not blaming BLM, but with the outrage over incidents like George Floyd and the young fellow in Atlanta whose name I've forgotten, and I'm sorry, people think I'm a bigot just because I've forgotten his name, and Breonna Taylor, and situations like this. But the response has been rampant, insane lawlessness.
I think a lot of the fulmination, and we saw a fulmination 2 summers ago, well before the current events. I think what happens is, if you really want to prevent crime, it has to happen at the parental and neighborhood and aunt and uncle and grandparent level. And I really do think we've reached a point in our area in South Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, the river parishes, where a parent might used to see a gun in their kid's pocket and take it away from them, and now the parent is worried that the kid will turn the gun on them, so they just kind of let it go.
Let it slide.
Let it slide.
We're going to talk a bit more about crime in the capital region and your city as well. We've got a deputy chief with Baton Rouge Police that is going to be joining us in hour 2, which is coming up next, right here on Exiles TV.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances. Your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back. It's hour 2 of Exiles TV. Bill, have you been enjoying Phase 3? The governor's largesse. Have you gotten out and enjoyed and phased your 3?
I have been phasing my 3, which has been very little difference from my phasing of 2. And I'm not going to be sarcastic about it, but I think a lot of it is just is just not very well thought of. Or not very well thought out.
As we all have come to understand, that our governor is a scientific and medical expert on contagious diseases.
Well, I don't think we can blame him for that. I think he's following the White House guidance.
He's also following some local guidance, although I did notice that his main COVID virus guy at LDH has quit. So I don't know if that means anything or anything.
Yeah, it means he got a better job offer is what it means.
Phase 3 looks a lot like Phase 2, especially where masks are concerned, because nothing has changed. We're still going to be expected to wear masks in situations where probably they're not very efficacious, but what the hell. As my sister-in-law told me, what the mask signifies is your respect for other people. And I couldn't argue with that. I mean, not that I give a crap about other people, all that.
Oh, you do.
I do. I honestly do. That's why when I go places that require a mask, I've always got a mask handy and I put the mask on. Let's talk about the bar thing, though, with John Bell Edwards.
I don't get this. Yeah, what is it? You have to stop pouring at like 10 o'clock?
Okay, first of all, the bars are 50% capacity.
Yeah.
So let's take a bar, let's say the state fire marshal says maximum capacity of this establishment, 200 persons. That means 100 persons is the most that can be in there, period.
Right.
Now, most bars do not have seating for 100 persons. Not seating. Think about Tigerland. There's hardly any seating at Tigerland.
I don't think we can use them as a
Not a good
an
example, but
yeah.
Let's just say most bars are designed for people. Like this room we're in now. This is Scoreboard's Bar and Grill. We're in the part of the building that's the bar.
Maybe 80.
Yeah, maybe 80.
Maybe 80.
But it's 50%. To be served, you've got to be seated. And someone's going to come and serve you at your table. You can't stand up. You can't go to the bar. You can't be a barfly. And I understand that because that's that's not social distance.
Well, because y'all, I didn't mean to tell you. You got really pretty hair.
Okay,
all right,
but
so I think we should do that anytime anyway, okay?
Here is the crux of the biscuit. Governor, last call at 10?
I don't get that.
The bars must be closed by 11? Do you know something about this virus we don't know? Is this virus able to tell what time it is? Does it become more virulent after a certain hour of night?
I know what it is. Nothing good happens late at night, right?
I think that's what it is.
The virus gets pregnant after 10 o'clock and it spreads more.
I think that's what it is that he's got some kind of a puritanical, old school, nothing good happens after midnight, close them down.
Virus has had a couple drinks, it gets a little loose. Next thing you know, people are whispering in virus ears, they hook up. The virus gets pregnant after 10 o'clock, and there's more virus.
I posted on social media the other day, Governor, what's next? Are you going to declare our bedtime? Are you going to issue a mandate that says we've got to be wearing clean underpants all the time, less than, we go to the emergency room and embarrass Mom?
By the way,
you're not our nanny, for God's sakes.
I worked in an emergency room, the busiest in the state of Illinois, for 3.5 years. And I never saw a clean pair of underpants, and I'll tell you why.
Because people crap themselves when they get hurt.
You see the truck. You see the truck coming right at you as you're crossing Michigan Avenue.
They were clean.
And first you say it, and then you do it.
Exactly. But I just don't understand. If you're going to let the bars open, and then tell them they have to close by 11 o'clock. They have to have their doors shut by 11 o'clock. What does that have to do with the health emergency?
Well, and here's the thing.
Explain the science to me, John Bell.
These bar owners are now not only operating at half capacity, but they're operating at half capacity at maybe half to 2/3 of their normal business hours.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not going to help them stay in business.
Oh, and by the way, absolutely no help to the many, many, many musicians in this state, because those bars that are open can't have live music. Why?
Well, because again, after you leave the bar, then come on, unite. We need to dance, and we can talk no more.
We had on this show 1 week ago today 2 lovely people, Kristen Corville and Eric DeSanto.
Mm-hmm.
They make up Cumberland County, a musical group. They're songwriters. They're lovely people. They have had to go out and find other occupations because they can't make a living in their chosen field of being entertainers. Because I don't know why. Why can we not have live entertainment? Is it just the beatings will continue until morale improves? Is it because you start a recall petition against me, I'll show you?
Well, you know what it really is? It's a lot of people practicing amateur sociology. The nothing good happens after midnight thing. And again, well, if you have live music, people are going to be up, they're going to be dancing, they're going to be singing
enjoy
along,
themselves,
and more spittle's going to fly out of their faces.
And they'll be singing along, and spittle will fly.
It will. But you know what? You cross that bridge when you come to it. The big thing with church services was people singing along and doing the handshakes and all that. There are going to be people that want to dance. I get that. Worry about that when there's reason to worry about it.
Well, we're going to go to break, but one thing I can tell you that our governor is probably not worried about is his legacy in this state.
Oh, by the way,
he's rapidly becoming one of the most hated governors in recent history.
By the way, before we go to break, for you people that want to have live music at your bars, get the people who are providing the music to tell everybody that they really can't dance in the bar. And you know what? Every man in that bar will thank you so much that they will spend more money on food and booze than they've ever spent in their life, and they will come back the next night and the next night. That's how you handle that.
Just, Governor, let us live our lives, okay? We'll be careful. And you know what? Did you ever consider this? Encourage people who feel sick to quarantine themselves. Okay? The rest of us who feel well, we want to go about our lives, thank you very much. We'll wear the mask.
But
Good God, I want to go out to dinner. I want to go drinking. I want to go dancing.
I have tried to be... You don't want to go dancing.
Yeah, I love to dance.
Do you?
Yes.
Is your man card in your pocket?
Well, Marianne and I only slow dance.
Is your man card in your pocket?
Hey, man card, slow
Hand
dance.
it over.
Slow dance okay with man card because you're rubbing bellies.
All right.
All right.
All right, but you don't like do the funky chicken or anything.
No.
You're sure?
That's undignified.
You're right. I will take that man card.
That's
I will take it right out of your pocket.
I'm keeping my man card. More after this on Exiles TV. Yeah.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Exiles TV. So glad to have you with us. Coming up later in the hour, we're scheduled to speak with one of the deputy chiefs of the Baton Rouge Police Department. It's been an especially violent 4 days in the capital city.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now, if you could say this, well, at least we didn't have so many people killed, but we did have at least 10 people shot and injured. And there's been some complaint with getting those non-fatal shooting numbers released. This is all supposed to be very, very transparent, and I don't know if there's a good reason for it or not, but some people say that they have trouble when they ask for the number of non-fatal shootings, and I've been told by people in the know in law enforcement that you would be startled and shocked at how many people are shot in this city on a yearly basis but are not killed. Well, our murder numbers are bad enough.
Yeah, but I mean, and the modalities, you know, we're getting a lot of people that are being shot at and hit or shot and missed in vehicles. The most recent one, yesterday afternoon, an 18-year-old was behind the wheel of his vehicle, and it was obviously moving because the vehicle was crashed into a turn signal, a traffic signal, at Winburn and North 38th, right by the Estruma High campus. The driver and his 21-year-old passenger were stopped at the traffic light. Jed is Tequarian Batiste, 18 years of age.
Wow, that's a baby. That's just a kid.
He had a 21-year-old passenger with him. That passenger is in critical condition at the hospital. I am assuming that passenger suffered gunshot wounds as well because it was a low-speed collision with the pole that was holding the signal apparatus at the traffic light. But, oh my God, have you ever heard of so many shootings into vehicles as we have had in just the last few weeks?
No, and of course, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a 3-year-old girl who was a passenger in a vehicle, shot dead because someone was firing on that vehicle as they went down a busy street. We had someone in a vehicle firing wildly from the vehicle and bullets penetrating a house. And
74.
14-year-old girl struck, not killed, but as she lay in her bed, she takes a bullet. Now, I'm sorry, you should be able to lay down in your bed at night and not have to worry about a bullet coming through your wall.
Well, I mean, this used to be a problem that was reserved for the public housing projects in some of the bigger cities of America, where you would have people, when their neighborhood was going through some unrest in their apartment, they'd tell their babies to sleep in the bathtub. This is not a problem that we have had here regularly until just recently. But, I just don't get this. The shooting in Baker that happened over the week on Monday. 2 o'clock in broad daylight. And people
Middle
were
of the afternoon.
Were in a vehicle, apparently. 4 people shot, 3 taken from the scene, 1 transported by paramedics. 2 different shooters were firing at each other. And they just happened to be in the way in their car. An 8-year-old hit in the leg.
Now, people will say, this is happening because we've got crappy police, or this is happening because we don't like our police chief.
No.
And I'm sorry, I can't subscribe to that. I can't believe that making Murphy Paul the chief of police of Baton Rouge was the reason that we have a spike in violence. It's not a police situation. This is a societal problem.
And I think it's a parental problem or a neighborhood problem.
I'm going to say that I think if you want to look at the people, if you want to change it, and you want to point a finger and say you need to do more, don't point a finger at police. They're doing everything they can, and they're doing it for crappy pay.
Let me ask
Point
you.
a finger at the so-called community leaders and community organizers. What a lot of these people are doing is whipping people up and making them more violent instead of the exact opposite. They should be trying to pacify their constituency.
I realize that you and I grew up in a 2-parent household.
Yep.
There are a lot of people today who are young people. It's 1 parent.
Yeah, didn't have that luxury.
Or it's a grandparent. But what do you think, and I'm asking a serious question here, what do you think the odds would be of you having a high-value, high-caliber handgun, not something little bitty, but like a Glock or something
Glock
like
9,
that,
something nice,
and being able to keep that from your parents long-term?
Dude, I couldn't hide a little weed from my parents, let alone a handgun.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I remember before I started actually smoking cigarettes, the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life, I decided that, oh, hell, all the cool kids are doing it. I'll get a pack of cigarettes, and I'll smoke one, and I'll try to hide it at home. Well, when Mom folds your underwear and puts it into that top drawer, she's going to see the Benson and Hedges. Yeah, I think parents, particularly with some of these worst kids, I think parents are afraid of their kids.
Afraid of their kids.
Yeah, I mean, these are
Good
kids.
God Almighty, what's that say?
Well, it says that we have a situation that is going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, if you are the parent or the grandmother or some sort of custodial guardian, and you know your 15-year-old has a stolen weapon, and you know that they've probably used it or can't wait to use it, you would be stupid if you weren't afraid of that kid. I mean, going back, 15 years now, Klebold and Harris in Colorado, and one of them, bang, bang, making bombs, in the basement. And they asked the mother, "You didn't know?" She said, "Oh, no, I didn't know." And finally, after about a year had gone by, she confessed that she figured her kid...
She'd hear all that clanking and banging. She knew they were doing something.
Well, and she knew that her kid was unstable and violent, and she was afraid of him.
I've forgotten the names of the players, but the shooter in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That woman, even though she owned firearms, she was scared of her boy.
Yeah.
And she had every right to be, because he murdered her and took her weapons and went and committed mass murder.
But I do think in our area, in a lot of major metropolitan areas, first of all, we have really, really stupid middle-class white people who live in very nice neighborhoods like yours and like mine, who leave their very expensive weapons in their cars in the driveway with the cars unlocked, and those weapons find their way to all of these kids that really don't understand the consequences of their actions but are happy to pull a trigger. So there's the supply. But then I think you've also got a lot of parents, when you're looking at the shooter being 16, 17, 18, chances are they live at home. Chances are their parents know they're hanging with a bad crowd, okay? And
or they have no idea whatsoever what kind of crowd they're hanging.
They're afraid of their kids. And you know what? It's very, very hard to get a parent to call the cop on their own kid. I don't care what kind of neighborhood you live in.
Yeah.
But that and being afraid of the consequences to you or the other children in the house, if you call your kid out or bring the heat down on them because they're carrying a gun, a lot of these parents just won't do it. I can't say that I blame them. If I'm outgunned, I am not going to poke a stick in the eye of the person that's got me outgunned.
So this is, you know what? Let's take a commercial break, and we'll pick it up right there when we come back. Exiles TV, back in a moment.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Back.
Yeah, we are. We're back.
So are we. What coincidence. Thanks. We appreciate you. Exiles TV continues. So we were talking about this. Parents, as you mentioned, I think a lot of parents may actually fear their children, especially their boys, their teenage boys.
Although what I've seen lately with these brawls from teenage girls, they can fear them too.
The girls can throw down, but that seems to be the difference. The girls throw down and they tear at each other's clothes and they tear at their hair. They don't tend to shoot each other.
Yet.
But can we count on the parents to right this wrong and stem the tide of violence amongst our younger people? No, because as you said, most parents are not going to rat out their own kid.
But
so who do we turn to? The police can't prevent a young person from committing a violent act. Who is going to reach them? Is it the community center that they may go to hang out?
Well, I think the BRAVE program did a good job of helping the parents who thought their kids might be at risk and giving them the kind of support they need. But this goes back, decades. I mean, we had in my high school, we had this little group of greasers, okay? They were kind of on their way out, sociologically when I went to high school, but there was still this little group. They were known to carry knives and brass knuckles and,
They were what we used to call hoods.
Yeah.
Remember the hoods? And
a lot of them, if their mom got in their face, they had no problem cuffing her across the face with a backhand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like most bad things sociologically, that has intensified, and it is not beyond my sphere of belief to believe that in some of these really rough neighborhoods with a lot of crime, not just in Baton Rouge, but in New Orleans and in Lafayette and in other cities, that you probably have a kid that's 15 or 16 years old that's hanging with a tough crowd that thinks carrying a gun gives them some status, some protection, some import, and they may have showed it to mom and said, "You get in my face, you're first."
Yep.
And you know what? Mom will do the calculus real quick, and Mom will believe him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there have been people that have said it in a more complicated way and more eloquently than I can, but the breakdown of the family unit is the biggest contributor to violent, rampant crime in this country, bigger than anything else. And you know, if you get to the point where you're tipping over now to where parents are afraid of their teenage kids, all hell is going to break loose.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe already has in Baton Rouge.
Maybe it has, but that is the question. Who do we task with reaching these people? And you know, the problem, by the way, is not just young people. I cannot believe that all of the gun violence in this area is committed by people, say, under 26 years of age.
No, but a lot of it is.
A lot of it is.
A lot of it is.
It's not just an age problem. It is also an abject ignorance problem. And I don't mean that to be an insult. I'm just saying we don't spend enough time teaching young people values. And when I say they're ignorant, I mean literally what the word ignorant means. It doesn't mean you're bad. It means there's stuff you don't know.
Exactly.
And if you're ignorant, it's because no one helped you with that information. See, I grew up keenly aware of what was and was not against the law. And I grew up understanding that if you break the law, you risk the wrath of the law. And so I kept my nose clean. I'm 61 years old. I don't have a criminal record. I've never been arrested. I've never been fingerprinted. My entire life, I kept out of trouble. Something is missing in the upbringing of young people today. Nobody is bothering to try to teach them the importance of staying out of trouble.
Well, the paradigm has changed. You're making an important point. The paradigm has changed. We were told from a very early age about consequences. We were told it's going to be on your permanent record.
Mm-hmm.
We're get told you go to jail. That's irreversible. I don't care if you're only there for 6 months. It's on your record. You won't get a good job. Good people aren't going to want to hang with you, et cetera, et cetera. I've heard it with my own ears. I've had it said to me. I will never forget when the T-tops were stolen off my car in my driveway. And it had been happening a lot in the neighborhood, and the sheriff's office just happened to have an undercover looking for people burglarizing cars. And they caught this guy. And this kid was about this big. And he was screaming. He was calling the cop all kinds of names, telling him what a chump he was, and telling him, quote, "You can't do me nothing. I'm a juvenile. I'll be out before you have your dinner, chump." Now, someone teaches that kid that.
Say, who feeds their head with that crap? Who fills their head full of that nonsense?
And even if somebody in his house, where he lays his head at night, doesn't say that, they don't tell him, don't listen to people who do say that.
But the other thing that they don't tell them is at some point you get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 strikes, but then you're unemployable. And the other thing about, it's like they all complain, I haven't got a job, I haven't got any money, I haven't got a job. It's like, what have you done to try to be worthy of a job? We don't groom young people for success. Now, this is not true of our entire community. There are places you can go in Baton Rouge and you could find children, young, and let's just say it, black kids. Let's just assume that this is a black problem, okay? It's not wholly a black problem. You can find black kids that are sterling, well brought up. But you know what the difference is usually? They've got a mom and a dad. And in a lot of cases, both of them have a job.
Well, I will tell you what you have. I saw this story yesterday, and it's been on social media for a while, but there is a college preparatory high school in Memphis. It was started by 2 black males who made their way in this world, got an education, did well in their jobs, and wanted to turn their sights to educating people in the community that needed help. And It is a mostly black school. There is a young, skinny white kid that goes to school there, and he has a bit of autism, and he was being bullied. 2 black kids who are football players, so they're big men on campus there, started to laugh along with the other kids and then said, no, wait, this ain't the way it's supposed to be.
Not right.
They took this kid under their wing. They realized that in addition to his other infirmities, that he was there kind of on a scholarship and didn't have much in the way of clothing. So they went with their own money to the Gap outlet and they bought him a bunch of clothes. Well, this made big. One of their friends put it on social media saying, hey, these 2 guys did this. The point is, they had parents at home and they had people at school who told them, this is the way you conduct yourself to be a good person, to be a successful person, to be a person that has a rewarding life, not one of misery, terror, crime, fear, destruction.
Desperate living is what I call it.
Somewhere along the line, we have allowed people who do not come from good circumstances, who may have been on public assistance for much of their life, we have allowed them to change the way they're parented because of they parent because of their circumstances, and now their kids are teenagers. All they know is fighting in a life, as you put it, of desperate circumstances.
Yep, desperate living.
And as you put it, it's not stupidity, it's ignorance. Ignorance simply means you don't have the right information, or you believe the wrong information.
We used to teach young people in school civics and citizenship. I don't think that's done at all anymore. I got into a discussion on Facebook about whether or not it might be a good idea to, let's talk about math for a minute, required math. Most of the time, you're required to take math, and then next in line is algebra, and then you do geometry, and then if you did well in geometry and you're still in school, like your senior year, you go algebra 2, or what some people call college algebra.
College algebra.
The discussion was this: let's drop algebra 2, let's drop it all together, and make the required course everyday math. And I don't mean,
math at the grocery store.
Math
like of buying a car.
Balancing a checkbook. Understanding what a good credit, why it's important to get a good rate when you borrow money. Understanding the importance of paying the bill off. That sort of thing. These could be, if these are taught in school, these could be things that can help create better citizens.
They have to have the support of the parents. And I
also have to have support of bing, 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 teachers unions if you're going to take that into the schools.
Well, and I sound like I'm dogging the parents, and I am. But I am not doing it because I am a mean-spirited guy.
Oh, I feel for these. I feel terrible for these parents.
I am doing it out of concern. But I mean, when you see there was a case a few years ago, and it broke my heart. This kid walked into a convenience store, shot the clerk, took the money and the cigarettes, ran out. He wasn't wearing a mask. They had him on video. And his poor grandmother, who he lives with, she looked like she was 70 years old and lied in the camera. He was here. He was asleep on my couch. He said, ma'am, we have video of him pulling the trigger. No, he was asleep on my couch. Now, there was a time 25, 30 years ago where that grandmother, the cops would have had to cuff her to keep her from going down there and whipping his ass herself. What?
Now she's an accessory after the fact.
What has changed? Not a good change.
It's scary. Another quick commercial break. We're going to be right back with more of Exiles TV.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
That is the rumor.
We were talking about crime in the metro areas of Louisiana and how it seems to be younger. It seems to be a lot more gun involved, and the body count is going up. Before we get back to that discussion, by the way, in the Baton Rouge area, the skies are starting to look a little threatening right now.
Yeah, it's starting to darken up a little
due to Sally. We are going to see some rain bands. The wind has not exactly picked up yet. But for those of you watching us in Orleans and Jefferson and St. Bernard, you are going to get a wind field that is going to start in earnest over the next 6 to 7 hours. So make your preparations, make your plans. I don't think they're keeping too many of the mandatory evacuations in place, except maybe for Lower St. Bernard, Plaquemines Parish. But anyway, we will not have, in all likelihood, a direct hit from the hurricane. We will have we're on the dry side of it.
Yeah, there are no advisories, watches, or warnings for East Baton Rouge Parish.
Yeah.
Or any of the surrounding parishes in the capital region, with the exception of the lower part of Livingston and a pretty good chunk of Ascension Parish. But this is just a tropical storm warning.
And they're worried about tidal surge too.
And of course, you've got the rivers in those parishes. You've got the Amite, you've got the Tickfaw, you got the rivers running through those parishes, and storm surge coming up those rivers.
Yeah.
So it's a very legitimate concern.
So
if I were living, say, Port Vincent, I'd be a little nervous right now.
Well, you know, they do have Port Vincent and those areas. They are predicting above normal ground level 1 to 2 feet of water. Now, most of those houses, like French Settlement, Port Vincent, most of those areas are fairly elevated now. They've learned that from hard experience. They're saying it shouldn't be a major problem, but they're still warning people about it.
I am looking at the active tropics map. We still have active Paulette. We have Sally, of course. We have a storm called Teddy that could be a Gulf storm.
We have Vicky right behind Teddy.
Vicky looks like it will come north of Puerto Rico and Cuba and maybe be another one of those East Coasters.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an area to watch in the southwestern Gulf down by Mexico.
Yeah, by Brownsville and the border there between Texas and Mexico.
And Invest 98L is just off the African coast. And if that storm becomes a named storm, that would be our W storm and the last named storm of this year.
So
before we move on to Hurricane Alpha, Hurricane Beta, et cetera, et cetera.
God forbid. So they don't do X, Y, and Z anymore.
Well, I mean, you just don't have that many names that are X, Y, or Z. Think about it.
Yeah, you don't. You have that many.
So,
but they haven't been used that much. It's not like the ABC names.
You know, I don't know that I necessarily want to have a Hurricane Z. You know.
Well, let's see, you got Zachary, you got Zachariah, you got Zed, you got Zane, you got Zori.
Yeah. How about Y?
All right, Y. You got Yvonne.
Yeah.
Right. You got Eve. Like Yves Montand.
Yes, like Yves. Like
Yves, Yves Montand.
Yes.
Let's see, you got, what else you got? You got Yvette. You've got,
But I think I speak for everybody. So enough with the storms.
And what you got with X? You got Xavier. You got Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier. You know, Xander, which is short for Alexander, so that should technically be an A.
Well, but that might also be a Z. A lot of people spell it with a Z.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that the last time I saw anything like this was 2005.
It was bad.
When we got all the way through the alphabet and then had 3 named storms that were named for Greek letters. Yikes. And we were still, 2005, we were still having tropical storm activity and hurricane activity as we approached Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't right.
Jeff Morrow, again, I like the way Jeff does his science. He's with WAFB Channel 9. He was doing the graph month by month, and he said, for those of you that are decent at math and can do it quickly, you'll see that it's only 97%. He said that's because 3% of all named storms happen outside of the parameters of June through November 30th.
Okay.
He said we do have storms that get names and do damage in December.
Well, and our A and B storm were before the official start of the hurricane season this year.
So, I just when does the Almighty give us a little break here?
You think that we're, maybe the Almighty is trying to tell us something. We got, like 7 tropical systems still active. We've got forest fires, which I think a lot of these forest fires have been set, but I noticed that the news media is calling them climate change related forest fires.
They're having drier than usual areas, so the climate hasn't changed. I don't get all exercised on that because it is what it is. we've had climate change since we could all see and breathe and hear.
Yes.
Climate does change.
It may be drier than normal, but if somebody doesn't set the forest on fire, then you usually don't have a forest fire. You got the gender party a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the big one.
The gender announcement. We're going to blow something up to show you the kid's gender. It's like, are you crazy?
Yeah, it's dry. But I mean, you also have, as you get to Northern California, those areas did not have rain for about 45 days, and then they had a thunderstorm with lightning, and lightning will set one of those big tall trees on fire very, very quickly.
Sure will.
And unfortunately, it usually happens in an area where nobody can see it until there's billowing clouds of smoke.
Several years back, I mean, it's been a good long time, but rainy day, lightning strike, boom, pecan tree in my front yard, on fire. Lightning blasted, family of squirrels laying dead on the ground with their eyes all bugging out, and the top of the tree was on fire. And I started to freak out. It's like, now how am I going to deal with that? But luckily, Mother Nature and the rain took care of it for me.
Well, I've got folks in Tangipahoa Parish. My grandparents had a strawberry and lumber farm. And one spring day, when we were visiting for spring vacation, there was this, and I used to always see as we drove around Tangipahoa Parish, remember those old fire towers, that had the tripod kind of thing? Well, actually, it was quadrangle.
Oh,
and you had a little cabin on top with the fire watchers. They don't use them anymore.
There's a couple right near where I used to live in Natchez, Mississippi.
But I always wondered why they had them. And
so you can spot forest fires.
Well, and we had this thunderstorm. We heard this big old boom, and we're like, holy, you know what? Mm-hmm. Big old tall pine tree got hit by lightning, and the flaming embers got scattered onto the pine straw on the floor of the forest. And
then you got a real
cones.
recipe for disaster.
And we were out fighting a fire with shovels and water packs and buckets. And fortunately, it didn't spread because there were a whole bunch of us kids there that thought it'd be fun to go fight a forest fire. But I mean,
thought it would be fun to fight a forest fire.
Oh yeah, we were all 11,
kids these days wouldn't
11,
fight
12,
a forest
13
fire.
years old. We thought that was big stuff. I couldn't wait to fell a tree that looked like it was smoldering on the top. But anyway, it can happen very, very quickly. So
it's not nice to fool Mother Nature, but when you look at the sheer number of these forest fires that are going on in the western states, and you look at the map, strangely enough, none are in Mexico or in Canada. Mm-hmm. It's like, how does climate change know not to cross the border?
Well,
these things have been set by arsonists.
Well, or by people that just don't have their wits about them. People that, are lighting a camping stove out in a very,
Dude, if you looked at a map, it's hundreds and hundreds of forest fires.
And we have hundreds and hundreds of stupid people, don't we?
Well, it's like that old song says, everyone knows the world is full of stupid people.
Yeah. Hundreds and hundreds of stupid people. But if they find them, by the way, and if they were driving their truck without a working muffler and they set a spark that set a fire, they will charge them with arson, whether it was intentional or not.
Want to take a break? Last one of the hour?
Last one of the hour. Back in a moment on Exiles TV.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bud Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bud Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
And welcome back to Exiles TV. Not much time before we have to take our leave of you. A reminder that the whole show will be up on YouTube in just a couple of hours.
The whole thing.
There is a replay tonight at 10 o'clock on the same station.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that you are watching right now. As far as the hurricane, it looks like our neighbors in Mississippi and Alabama and the tip of the Florida Panhandle are going to get hit real hard. But we're not out of the woods entirely because the damn thing is just sitting there and it hasn't made landfall yet. So I would encourage you to stay engaged and don't think that it's over. While it's still sitting there spinning over water, it does nothing but pick up more moisture and intensify, and it did make that jog to the west, due west, yesterday that kind of scared everybody. So I think you're going to want to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, now if you want latest, this is the 10 o'clock position of Hurricane Sally, a Category 1 hurricane with max winds at 85 miles per hour. It's at 29.1 north, 88.2 west. It's just south of the mouth of the Mississippi River, and it's moving northwest at 2.
Oh, my God.
2?
Are they still predicting landfall in that Mississippi, Alabama area?
Predicting landfall roughly at the Mississippi-Alabama state line, somewhere in that vicinity. But now the storm, it's all to the east. All the bad stuff is off to the east of the eye wall, and the entire Gulf Coast of Florida is right now being socked with heavy rain and thunder showers and high winds.
Yeah. For those of you who are going to go to Gulf Shores or Orange Beach this weekend...
Planning that trip to Tampa, I think I'd wait.
Yeah, get your deposit back from the people who are renting you the condo. It's not going to be serviceable.
This has been a crap year for vacations,
has it ever?
It's really just been a terrible year for vacations. It's like, do we take one? Where can we go? Where can we go that isn't on fire or being looted and burned or under hurricane threat?
Yes, indeed. Well, we thank you all for being with us. We will see you again here on Thursday. Don't forget our Facebook Live podcast, The Morning Exiles, tomorrow morning at 8. Until then, be well.
And God bless. Take care.
Stay safe out there.